Okay, Oxygen community, I'm super excited today. We have a new guest with us. And as you know, I do tons and tons of work to get out and not only bring you what I feel is valuable as a coach, but meet other coaches with different perspectives and increase our community as often as possible. So I had the opportunity to meet this lovely gentleman in a network of coaches that I was working in. And I thought that what he has to say was worth your time and energy. So let me introduce you to Francois Lupien, all of my French skills at best. And he is a fantastic, energetic coach that we're going to talk to today. And then again in a second series, so you can send all of your questions to us and we'll put him on the hot seat and ask him for the second round. So Francois, welcome to the Oxygen community.
Hey, Kat, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and contribute to your tribe.
Oh, thank you so much. They're wonderful. All right, so let's dive right in because I think that what you are bringing to the coaching community really is of value. And when I use the word coach, I think it's a lot of a buzzword. So it kind of gives me the creepy crawlies, but I think you're one of those that really is coaching and mentoring their clients with a ton of value. So can you start with, it starts with us, which I hear you say a lot. Tell me where that came from and why it's important to you that you use that phrase.
Thank you so much. Yeah, indeed. It all starts with you. And it's something that is really powerful. But one of the ways that it deeply was ingrained in me is when I was 4 or 5 years old, believe it or not. And I'm 62 right now. And in my days, roller skates weren't in line. They had 4 wheels, not in line. And so my mom had a pair and she put them on my boots and she sent me on my way and I fell and I did not like it. I came home crying and I kicked those things. And my mom says, "What's going on?" I says, "It's not working." She says, "Well, come with me." So she took the boot, she took me, went outside, she sat on the sidewalk and she put on those roller skates herself. She stood up and she was 35, I think at the time. And she stood up and she was skating and then she knelt in front of me, looked at me in the eyes. And I remember this as if it was yesterday. And she said, "You can do anything you put your mind to. Now, answer me, do you want to roller skate?" I said, "Yes." So then you can do it. And so she just took them off, put them back on, and she cheered me from the sideline. And then a week later, I had a rope tied onto a friend's bike and I was being pulled. So the rest is history on this one. So it all starts with you, comes from my mom. And then if we fast forward, when I was 18 years old, I was brought to a meeting. You'll remember those are our age. I says, "Oh, come to this meeting, you'll love it." And of course, it was an Amway meeting, but nobody told you what it was.
Gosh.
So
that's so funny.
And there was this man, he was a chubby guy, and he was all happy and making circles. And the thing that blew me away is he was making $60 million a year. I'm 18 years old, and there's this man making $60 million a year. My father was a doctor, but like 60 million is insane money to me anyways at 18. And he said something pretty interesting. And I was like, it all starts with you. He says, "Do you know people in life that whenever good things happen to them, they say, 'Oh, this won't last. Something's going to happen. I'm going to lose it.'" And I knew someone like that personally, my dad, because he used to say things such as, "Oh, I just had a $10,000 bonus. Something's going to happen. I'm going to lose it." And I'm eating supper. I'm saying, "Okay." 2 days later, my sister scraps a car, cost 10 grand. He says, "There you go. I knew it." I go, "How can he do that?" And so that $60 million man on stage says, "You know people like this?" I go, "Yeah." He says, "Do you know absolutely true as well?" My curiosity, like you wouldn't believe. He says, "What does he mean?" He says, "You can start to speak into existence what it is that you want. Why do you call into your life what you don't want? Just call what you want. Will it work 100% of the time?" He was very transparent. He said, "No." Well, it will outshine the other way around 100% of the time. And so this is something that he sent me on a trek that he says, "Don't watch the news before you go to bed. Don't read newspapers with bad news." And in your car, put some, not entertainment music, but rather things that can help you with personal development, and read a good book every single month. As of now, roughly, I spent over $200,000 on myself and personal development and professional development throughout the years. And it turned out, I'm not the best, but I'm pretty good at I had some accomplishments that are pretty cool. I'd rather others tell that I'm doing great than me saying it. But all this to say that it was life-changing, that it all starts with you. And by doing it this way, Kat, is that we have now disempowered the outside world and empowered ourselves. Meaning, if I give the interest rate, well, we used to be COVID, it's overused now, but all these things that are outside and we say, oh, it's because of this, because of that, my mother-in-law, well, we've just empowered them and disempowered ourselves. But if we turn it around and we say, it all starts with you, now we can do something about it. And that's what I like, because we can do something about it. Now let's make a decision to make it better. So that's where it all starts with you comes from.
I love that. We talk a lot about that here at Oxygen, about controlling what you absorb. Especially for business owners, we are both absorbing and then putting out content. You're both that downstream consumer and that upstream provider. And you do control how you take in information. I think regarding your mom, that generation didn't absorb information with the intensity that we do now. And so we almost have an obligation to decide how much we're going to, or what kind of information we're going to absorb. Not turn a blind eye, but what kind of quality information we're going to absorb.
I love that, indeed. Yeah, and I like the fact that you mentioned that shows that you're seasoned and mature in your industry, because a lot of people says, oh, that means you're ignoring the things that are going on. No, you're not. You're being selective at what you allow to come in. You're aware of the peripheral things, but you don't let that control your life. That's powerful indeed.
Yeah. I think, and similar to how you and I met, you have to be in community with people who do the things that you do. Maybe not your competition, but community and people who are walking that path with you. I think it's why we're great coaches, or why you find other great coaches, why I have you on this podcast like this. Not everybody's going to be a great fit for me, but they may want to do business with you because you might be the better one, right? We're going to talk about here right now, and I'm going to have you speak to, because I know you said you don't like to toot on your own horn, but you are an extremely well-known Taekwondo fighter. And I think that right there might resonate really well with someone. I don't do that kind of thing. My son, yes. Me, no. So there's likenesses that allow us to expand those communities and really resonate with other people. We need those people in our lives. How does that help you, that journey that you took in the Taekwondo world, help you be a better coach?
That's a very good question, actually. And one of the things that it has helped me is that, when you go, because, and for those of you who see, I don't know if everybody sees, but I'm a gold medalist Canadian champion. So when you decide on something like this, how did it help me in my business? Number one, clarity. You need to have a clear goal. When you decide that you're going to go for a gold medal, this is not something light. It is something that needs to be very clear and conscious and intentional. So as I'm saying these things, relate them to your business, ladies and gentlemen, as you're listening in. So clarity. Number two, persistence. You don't get to the top because you're cruising. It's because you're pushing, and you got to be there again and again with persistence of learning more and more. And one that is really tied with this is consistency. Keep showing up. Regardless of what we're doing in business, we got to keep showing up. And same with us in the training, I needed to keep showing up, keep showing up. And also, to clarify on what you were saying, or to put some more meat on what you said, you need to seek the help, and in the case of Taekwondo, of masters. My master was 9th Dan, like not first, second, third,
Wow.
9th Dan. And so when he would speak, and they don't speak much, they grunt a lot.
Yeah, true. Very true.
But interestingly enough, you need to get to the highest level possible, someone who walks the talk, who has done it before. And then you need to apply it. It's nice to have the information from a master, from a coach, from a mentor, from someone that's been there before, but we need to apply it. Taking action is paramount. And then what I love is teaching others what you have learned. So I was in charge of the competition team. So I have to teach them what I have learned. So I'm integrating it even faster and faster and even more. And therefore you can leave a legacy of others that are actually good fighters now. So project that into business. You need clarity to know exactly where you want to go. Persistence. because it's not going to be rosy all the way. Consistency and showing up again and again, and then seeking help from other people, either Kat, myself, or someone else, to help you maneuver against the landmines that are unavoidably going to be part of your path. And then teaching others what you've learned, meaning sharing the growth that you have with others so they too can grow. And that way you can leave a legacy. I call it psychic money. I love to have other people flourish from this. And it's something that when you hit the pillow at night, you have a smile on your face because you felt you contributed positively to someone's life. So in essence, that's what the gold medal has helped me. That's why I call, you come into my world, let's have gold medal results in your life. Last but not least, I got this little thing here. I don't believe there's an easy button in life. No such thing as easy button. You need to pay the price. You cannot pay someone to do push-ups for you. You have to do them yourselves. And when you do them yourself, they're yours and no one can ever take it away from you. That being said, when you've done many push-ups, then it starts to be easier because you paid the price.
So why did you choose coaching in the professional world? You know, I think that there's a lot of value in having the accolades that you have and having taken the journey that you do. I always say you won't face judgment from someone who's further down the path than you are. So be cautious when you face judgment, where that judgment is coming from. You have all of these accolades. You have an extremely impressive resume. You know, a gold medal hanging behind you is absolutely nothing to sneeze at. Why did you choose coaching?
Giving back. Giving back. The reason why I was able to achieve, well, some pretty good results is because I had someone that had an outside view as I was doing. My blind spots were exactly that, blind spots. And therefore, if you want to accelerate your growth, you need to have someone else to help you see. I like to say that our eyes, we only see forward. I don't see the side or the back of my head. But if you're beside me, Kat, you do. And you say, Francois, look, this is what's happening. Oh, I didn't notice that. So you're helping me to find out the things that I cannot see. So therefore, it accelerates my growth by listening to someone like you. And by doing so, that's what I want, to help others grow. Also, I'm a religious person. And for those of you who are familiar or not, the parable of the talents, 5 talents, 2 talents, 1 talent. And if you're given 5, you expect to come back with 5 more, 10. If you're given 2, and expect to come back with 2 more. And I believe that people all have 5 talents. They just don't see it sometimes. Come into my world, we'll find them, and then let's multiply these guys so you can be fulfilled and help others. As you can tell, I get pretty excited when we talk about these things. That's one of the things I love, to peak performance. Let's get better. Let's not tiptoe through life. And so having someone else beside us to help us out to make this happen is paramount to make it better.
What's one thing that you think you've gained from your coaching career that is a byproduct you didn't know you were going to get?
Something that I got from my coaching career that I did not know I was going to get? Interesting. Very, very good question, actually. I would say the psychic money that I was talking to you about, the satisfaction of having made a difference in someone else's life that otherwise would not have reached that level. I think that after, at first, let's face it, let's be honest, we all go after the things that we do to make some more money. But after a while, money is just money. How many cars can you? We have 5 cars. Like, what do you do after that? Like it's so you need to have something else. Otherwise, you don't go forward. So I would say that transforming the lives of others and having my cell phone that rings says, Francois, thank you so much. It worked. And I'm that's what it gave me, that I did not expect to that level. I expected a bit, but not to that level.
Yeah. What would you tell a young person that was going in? I know you're a doting father, and I know that that's a super important part of your life. But if it wasn't a child that was yours, what would you tell a young person getting ready to start their professional career today?
Interesting. I tell you, we have 6 kids. And one of the things that we were saying is this: you're good, you're fantastic, you can make it happen. And we did that all the time, and it backfired on us in some point. Very interesting, because when you do this to your child or someone that is young, they expect that because they're good, everything is going to be easy. Rather, Rather, and this by experience, I'm doing this with my grandkids now. I says, you know what? You have within you the capacity to solve every problem that comes your way. And that's the little tweak, but something that is so different. You're empowering the person to have the mindset of saying, anything that comes my way, I can overcome, rather than you're good, you can make it happen. The positivity is good, but when life comes with a 2x4, smacks you in the forehead and you're bleeding, and he says, I'm not that good. And so that's not the best gift to me. Tweaking it, saying, you know what, anything that comes your way, I know you have it within you to find the solution to overcome. I believe in you. And that empowers them at a higher level is one of the main distinctions, I would say.
It's interesting because we started this conversation talking about your mom and your mom showing you through a difficult task and teaching you that same task. But that's not what we turned around and taught our children. Because I'm similar to you. You know, we talk a lot about my dad here, and my dad taught my children risk through shaking the change in his pocket. Do you want to trade your tooth fairy money for what Papa has in his pocket? You know, which by the way, Papa was always it was always gonna turn out good for you. But you know, little kids and their tooth fairy money, that's a big deal. And so they were learning risk and stretch, and you know, and their love for their Papa, right, is always a thing. But for them, it was a big deal. And so he almost had already learned what you're learning with yours. I was teaching them, you're good, come on, go, you know. And I think it's the difference between grandparents already going through, again, further down that journey, and parents trying to positively reinforce, or that affirmation type piece. So it is a very interesting journey, again, as we get through parenting and grandparenting, and you know, just again, that journey, that what we would instill in people coming behind us, what kind of advice we would give.
Yes, and taking it to back to the question that you asked about someone that's new, starting up, I would say those three magic words that I tell all my clients. How can I? Ask yourself this question, how can I? And since our brain is an answer-seeking mechanism, it will find answers for you. And if the first answer doesn't come, good, ask it again, and then we can fine-tune it. How can I get better and enjoy the journey? How's that? How can I do better and do it faster? So your brain's going to find those answers, but you're giving it into their possibilities rather than saying, you're good, you can do it. And motivation works. But I saw that it hits walls, and sometimes they're on their butt and they don't want to get up no more.
You know, it's interesting that you say that, you know, ask it again. For those of us who were brought up on like Lean Six Sigma or 5 Whys, that is what brought Toyota out of its deficit all of those years ago. The concept of asking why 5 times. Absolutely. Just in its very basic thought process, the 5 Whys was what saved Toyota. I mean, hello, how many times can you drive down the road and not see a Toyota car driving? And so that very simple concept of ask it again in its redundancy is what saved the largest car manufacturer still to date.
And
you know,
it's funny when you're saying that. I was national trainer for Tony Robbins when these kind of things happen. And when he was talking to them, the how can I turn into, we have people who have a basic car that we get, but whenever they want to get the luxury, we have nothing for them. That's why Lexus was created. That's how it came about. It's Toyota that it says, hey, what do we do when there are people, now they're making some money, they want to get to the next level. And it's from asking that question that it was born.
So I have to say right now, there are a ton. This is the difference between coaches who use coach as a buzzword versus coaches who will take you from where am I at right now and refer it back to large versions of how business has been done in history, is being done currently, and can get you from where you're going to where you want to be. When you have coaches, and again, this is why we bring coaches like this into the Oxygen community and let you hear different perspectives, because if you're coaching that you're listening to, podcasts, books, that upstream giving into you can't have conversations like this, find a new coach. Or find people that are giving into your brain and your business like this, because I think it's awesome. All right, so last question we usually ask. So we tell people to take some time to breathe life in and live in the moment. You've got 6 kids, you've got grandbabies, you're running a business. Tell us, what is the one thing that you do to remind yourself in the moment when life is taken over? What do you do to say, hey, you know what? I need to stop and be present in this moment. What is your like red flag? Hey, I need to take a deep breath and breathe life in right now.
And when overwhelm starts to kick in, I think of my wife. She's my best friend. And so I said, hey, let's go spend some time together. And in the winter here, what we do oftentimes, we have 4-wheeling and we go in the snow and we have a good time, take pictures and eat at a restaurant and come back, taking the time. That thing of work, money, 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 money. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We have to live somehow. And for me, when we are in business for ourselves, all of us listening right now, we don't punch a clock. Like, you do what needs to be done because it needs to be done, and that's it. But if we bury ourselves into that work all the time, we're going to lose balance, and that's not good. Rejuvenating ourselves outside of it enables us to come in refreshed and gain traction and momentum faster. So for me, my secret weapon is my wife.
Oh, I love that. Wow, she's clearly a powerful woman, so I love that. Absolutely. All right, well, tell our listeners, obviously, I said we're going to do this again, so you can go ahead and drop comments in any of the platforms that you're seeing this video today, and we will revisit any of those questions or comments in our second video. But for now, if you would like to follow Francois on any of his platforms or reach out to him directly, go ahead and tell us your website and how they find you on LinkedIn, please.
Well, website is howtobecomemore.com, howtobecomemore.com, very explicit. And on LinkedIn, Francois Lupien, just my name, Francois Lupien. Okay. You're going to see is the good looking guy that you see in there.
Awesome. We'll make sure that those are all in the notes for the video, and so you can link it all up. And like I said, we take all of our videos and tell you that we hope you take just a little bit of time to breathe life in, and we will see you for the second video in just a few weeks.
Thank you, Kat. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, everybody.